Shokri, what's up? Poodlestein. Unbeatable. All right, I'm going to try this thing. Let me see if this works. Actually, I'm going to go to this window. Okay. I think I might have gotten captions working, which I think would be really nice for the stream. It might take a little getting used to or figuring out where it needs to be or the size of the text, all that stuff. But it looks like it's going pretty well. It's just like a single line. I don't know if it's like, is that fast enough for everyone? I also need to post in the Discord here, so. Un momento. I think captions will work pretty well. It's just where does it go? How big should the text be? You know what I mean? Maybe the text should be larger. Let me announce on the server that we're live with some Discord critiques, and then we'll get going here. And then I can mess with the captions. How you doing, PC? Shokri with the #1. Poodlestein close behind. I need to copy this image and paste it here. I missed it. Missed it here. I'm good. I took today off because, you know, sometimes your brain needs a break. So it's kind of like a mental health day. So make sure we get there. This stream critique. Send. Scroll down. Pyro, what's up? Hello. You're at me. Okay, so that, to me, the caption font looks a little small. Also, I don't know what it's gonna do with like background stuff. We might need like a box background behind it, which takes up screen space. So I don't know where to, you know, I don't know where to put it. Looks okay to you? It feels small to me. We're just gonna take like the first few minutes here and just kind of mess with this stuff. Yeah, so you can see I'm in settings, so you're not seeing any of so that font looks much better to me. Chris Art, what's up, man? Anik, hello. Fatal, hello. Free, how you doing? Do you know why I have no access name on the channel you linked with the stream? What? No. Let me look. That's weird. Maybe I'm supposed to do this and this and this. How about now? I didn't deserve the shadow ban. Yep, works. Okay, cool. Nice. How do you submit? So you go to our Discord, which is linked there, and there should be a channel called stream-critique in the art topics section. Wow, these captions are quite good. I wonder if they need to go like above up here. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna get in the way of whatever is like below the, like if you guys' text is going, maybe it'll get in the way. Who knows? Anyways, let's let me try. Let's try this. I'm sure we're gonna run into some issues and I'm gonna have to figure out what to do about it. But cool. when we want some feedback. So that channel only appears when we do the stream critiques. The other thing too is the more specific you are with the feedback that you want, the better it'll be, right? Because then I can actually focus on what you guys want me to look at. I think I'm gonna move this up here and just something like that. Let's see if that helps. But yeah, the problem with like, okay, I'll open up the first one and we'll just like, this is Jeremiah posted some stuff. So what I'm gonna do is look at, I just want to see how this looks with the focus cam here. And then I'm gonna add scene, add captions. And so there's the captions, right? Which is kind of, it's good, but it doesn't have like, do you think it'd be okay if it had a shadow behind it and that would be enough? Because I can't put a block of color behind it or else it starts blocking out all the view. I mean, I guess we could in the, all right, we're going rogue, guys. We're going rogue here real quick. I just want to make sure I get this set up right for you guys. Because I think you guys like, do you guys like captions being on here? Yeah, you're first today. Let's go. Let's go, Manhattan. Where's the... So you're going to see behind the scenes here in a second. So we're going to go to the captions window here. What I'm going to do is add a shape. Color source, right? There it is. Yeah. You guys blind yet? You blind? Yeah. Nice. Nice. Just gonna put that behind the text here. I'm just gonna scale this down to a single line, and that might do it. Let's go back to the focus cam. There we go. So the downside is we do have that block of text there. Let me know if that's too extreme, but I think that will give us the ability to have the subtitles much easier to see. Maybe I can make the background a little lighter. If I grab the color source. Is there a way to... Maybe it's half opacity now? I have no idea. How you guys doing? Blind. Oh no. Oh no. That helps a little bit. Maybe a little too extreme. Okay, I'll edit it one more time and then we're just gonna get started. There we go. That, to me, that is acceptable. And then from there, we can worry about it later. Yeah, I'm just adjusting the opacity on the background so that you can still see the text and it's a little easier to read. All the time crazy. Yeah. I mean, let's see how well it works. Maybe it's going to be horrible. But cool. We can start now. Thanks for being patient. It's nice to be able to see the subtitle text, right? At least I think so. It was a suggestion from you guys as well, so it's working pretty well. So we've got some posts to get through here. I'll start with these two. So Manhattan, you posted 2 pieces. I'm just gonna commit to it because we don't have too many posts right now, so should be all right. But you were saying, would love some critique on my latest pieces. Smiley face. I've got some more stuff planned to post, but would love to know if you have tips on how to make your portfolio better. I want to do a blog post about that because there's a lot of stuff that we can do when it comes to that type of stuff. Yeah, you like that, Chris? Subtitles look pretty good. So we're gonna look at 2 of your posts. We've got what is this, Vintage Saw, and then this fan art for Crash Bandicoot. So let's look at the crash one first. Sculpting wise, I mean, it looks like you're sticking to the theme with the way, like with the shape language you've got going on here. There's no texturing on this, so like for me, sculpt steady, I guess, is the best way to show like what you're displaying here. Because I'm wondering like, oh, why isn't it textured? You know, Chris, I can say some weird stuff. But yeah, you'll probably, now that you see subtitles, you'll probably see that I say but a lot. So sculpt wise, these look pretty good. I would say the top one, the size of like the chips or the little edge denting and damaging is more consistent than some of the other stuff. Like this one, I'm guessing this thing is much larger. So because the shapes are kind of out of context, you don't really know what you're looking at when it comes to the consistency between the pieces. And yeah, I don't know if you need the logo on here. I think if you had like a starting image that showed like the logo and then all of the props like just kind of put together as like a little thing at the bottom, and then you go through a breakdown of each one. And I think that would be pretty good. It's just, and this one's flipped, is it not? Because of the text being backwards. Personally, I mean, you've got a scene going on here. This should be at the top. Maybe flipped the other way so that the text is facing a way that makes it not feel strange. Yeah, and then I would just go with that, honestly. I would put this at the top, and then these are your breakdowns. I don't know if you even need these ones here, because they just show your understanding of the consistency of the look you're going for. But compositionally, you can make this fit the frame of ArtStation, and then it's just like a poster, right? With your next scene, so it's interesting because we looked at some stylized stuff and some sculpts, and then now we've got this this scene. Looking at the textures, man, this thing is super rusted looking, it looks like. I almost feel like, I don't know, it's hard to, I don't think you need this big image of it. These are kind of nice, but maybe a little bright for like trying to see all the little details. Like you could probably have these two images in one image and have the close-up of this and then the thing next to it. The texturing of the wood is actually the weakest part to me. I think from a distance it looks fine, but it's like really understanding the wood grain direction and then like how it's, because it feels like it was projected on versus like an actual grain detail. Yeah, I think projecting the wood grain and then actually damaging it from there is probably the better approach, because you can see like there's this break where it goes from this surface to this one, and you get a very like different transition between the two here. Oh, I just realized my music is still on. We just lower that. You guys, no one told me. We were so focused on subtitles. Cool. Yeah, I don't have too much to say on this. This render here, actually, with all the elements around it, really helps. And I think when you see this, the amount of geometry being put into the teeth, you would probably just do that with alpha. And you would probably split it here, use the same shader for this and this, but you would make, well, not the same shader. You duplicate the shader that's here and then do an alpha test on this part. And you would split it. That way you don't have a giant plane of alpha test. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. I'm gonna just change the fingerprint stains on the wood. I mean, so I don't think you would really notice it, but maybe where your hands usually go, like just the oil from the human hand over time gets the stains on there. So it would just be maybe like a little bit more worn in a different way here, or maybe some more character, like where you wrap this area with like some like cloth tape, for like making it easier to grip or something like that. Okay, let me grab the next one here. So Yuri. Oh wow, how you doing, Irene? It got Yuri right in the subs. That's crazy in the caption. So texture critique. I don't know if textures are reading well. Let's see. I mean, this looks pretty cool to me. There's Elish, how you doing? There's a Oh, you're Yuri. Nice. That's awesome. Dude, the caption tried to get the haha. That was crazy. So I think when it comes to this type of model, it's going to be a balance of like making sure that you don't add too much rust, because then you start to get you sent better lighting. Oh, I see. Let's see if I agree. Better lighting. Just a change in the angle, right? But you're getting better definition between, like, this feels quite flat, but like with this lighting angle, you get a plane that's a bit darker on this side, and you get a little bit more shape definition because of it. Yeah, this is good. You get to see more of this information up here as well. Okay, so the thing I wanted to say was you're going to be fighting for making something too detailed, right? So a lot of the kind of dirt, noisy stuff you're doing in the paint, a lot of that can be pushed into your roughness pass, and the rust is the other part that it's going to be like this balance of making sure you don't rust it too much. Also, rust will give you a sense of scale. So knowing like how big this is, finding reference of what has been rusted before, that's of similar scale to like just an area down here, will give you an idea of like how long a rust streak will be, and the size difference between all of the rust like streaks themselves. But when we look at these like splotches of rust, overall, I like the rust. I like where it's heading. There's some tension points where the rust would build, like the leaking would build up, and that would cause rust to happen. I think the layer that it feels like we might be missing is maybe a discoloring, or like so paint will have like a sun bleaching effect. If it's got a little bit of color to it, it'll become more desaturated and brighter as it's more exposed to the sun. So like you could put a gradient in the paint from the ground to the top. Grounding it with some dirt or something will be really useful, I think. The lines right now are really straight. Those are something that I would really look at. Maybe either adding some bevels or a little bit of extra geometry just to push that line away from being just a straight line. The lens here, making that feel like a glass lens is going to be important. The white's not too bright. It's not blowing out, but I do agree that maybe a subtle pattern, like not really strong, but a subtle pattern for like a winter, like is this a unit that's supposed to be positioned in like a winter tundra that's supposed to hold off the enemy? That's something I would think about. Yeah. Otherwise, I would say you've got rust, you've got your paint, exposed metal, and you need like maybe like a layer of dirtiness that just kind of collects up in little areas. That's not the rust, right? And it's not like the kind of cloudy stuff we're seeing here. That's why I'm saying you could put this in the roughness, and then get that kind of visual buildup in the crevices. It's a winter military base. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, so like look at maybe some winter camouflage that's not too contrasty. So the pattern, like the splotchy patterns would be there, but they'd be very close to themselves in value. But just something to break up the surface so it's not just all white. How would you go about a portfolio piece like this in terms of textures and triangles? Should it be capped somewhere or just pushed to the limit? I would use the amount of geometry that you think you need to sell the shapes that you're building. That's the answer. Man, it's weird looking at my captions because it doesn't capture my ha or my laugh. It sounds very blunt, which maybe I need to be more blunt. Who knows? Winter paint will get really chipped. Oh, interesting. See, I think getting a lot of references will be really useful when it comes to this type of asset. But overall, I like the direction it's going in. I would just be careful with the density of the rust. Like, I really like the rusts and stuff here. But finding areas to like tone it down or like give the area the surface rest for the eyes, like here. This could be, I don't know if you need that there. That might be more for like the discoloring. Really nice though. Okay, next up, let's get a community tag on you as well. Okay, so, oh man, this brings back some like, hey, no problem, Yuri. Thank you for submitting. So, looking at this piece, I get Tony Hawk vibes. I get the Hawk vibes. So I'm planning to apply for school this autumn, TGA. Oh, nice. TGA is dope. I was there in January and sat down with people and looked at their work. It's cool. It's a nice school. Polo, this is you. I've been working on a few different projects that I might submit in my portfolio, but I thought I would ask for some critiques on the skate park project that I've made the most progress on, and maybe if someone has experience, what is expected to get into the school. I mean, I think a strong, like this already looks pretty good for getting into the school. What to me, this scene is apply for the Skate 14. Nice, Chris. Skate 14, what? Confirmed through captions. Yeah, I think when I look at this scene, what I'm seeing is like the first pass of the scene with all of the assets and like graffiti pass has been done. Now getting like, it looks like you've got some wear and tear happening here, but getting some like directionality of like where people usually land, like this type of stuff, I would go super hardcore with that. Really kind of make it feel like the place has been used a lot. Right now it feels like it's more of splotchiness, and maybe it needs to be a bit more streaked. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's something that feels a little off to me. It just feels a little sterile in that sense, but getting that type of detail, I think, would help really push the scene. Have you looked at a lot of references for these types of places? I assume so. Oh, something you can do with door. Ooh, I like this. Something nice that you could do with doors is depending on, I mean, maybe in the reference, this is fine. But like getting like where the frame is, it meets the wall. And if the door is inset, you get a nice like free like shadow kind of depth space to it. But judging by how this looks, that's probably what it looks like on the other side, because the whatchamacallit, the hinge is on the outside. Yeah, working the wall geometry more would be nice. It's any opportunity to like see more of the detail, like where this pipe goes, getting a little bit of like discoloring at the bottom of it where it meets the wall. Stickers, how they're set up here, are overlapping in a strange way, or all strangely the same size. Getting those kind of more organic looking, like making a kit of like 20 stickers and just kind of making collections of stickers that are on top of each other, and aged ones and discolored ones. Like, why would they put stickers here but like not on the door, for example? Like, I feel like someone would put a sticker here. And when you think about people putting graffiti up, right? That's usually gonna be maybe up here, because painting graffiti that low is gonna be difficult for someone spraying it down. So raising it up by like a meter or half a meter will help a lot, I think, when it comes to like the reality of like making graffiti. But you have your head in the right place when it comes to looking at these types of like surface details, like the dirtiness that's on the bottom of the wall. That might be a little too dark, but the idea of that being there is really good, and where the beams like meet the wall. These things to help connect and make everything feel like they're interacting with each other. Yeah, it's interesting because like I think even on the stools, like the seats on the side, stickers would be there too, right? Anywhere where there can be seats and stickers and whatnot, I think it makes sense. This place looks nice though. Yeah, see, I see the scrapes and stuff that you're doing. Maybe it's like pushing it a little bit more in the roughness to just get that to show a little bit more. Not any specific references. I would definitely. You're a skater yourself, so that's cool. You probably skate with if you're applying to TJ, you probably skate with Canal. Canal with a K, okay. Caption. Jeez. Yeah. Just kind of looking around here, see if there's anything else. You have a tendency to. It's always better to just kind of go crazy, and then it's easy to dial back if you approach it in a way where it's like, oh, we really like this, but you can, like, if you just remove a few of these or like turn it back by like 20%, it's much easier to lower that type of work than to slowly like creep up and build on top of it, if that makes sense. Looks cool though. I mean, I think you're heading in the right direction. It's like you're needing the polish phase now. Like, is this concrete? Because it's quite the roughness is strange. I think that's another thing I would double check is your roughness values. Also, you can see if I zoom in, this looks terrible when I zoom in like this, but you can see these banding lines. This is this aliasing pattern that's happening. That's you can get away from that if you render, like, let's say you render at like a 4K for output, and then in Photoshop or whatever you're using, scale it down to 1080, you'll clean this up pretty nicely. Different color scrapes, definitely. Some darker, some lighter. But I would look at your roughness maps and see where those are all at. And yeah, because I expect this to be a little less reflective in that sense. And that might just be a direct light going on there. Is this in Unreal? This is in the screenshots from, yeah. It does look a little metallic, right? I was almost feeling like these might be metal. Unity, really? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, the things I was gonna say was just like, when you get a chance, I would post some critiques that you're like what the roughness in a render looks like, in a screenshot looks like, because that's, I think, where there's some weaknesses that are exposing themselves. And then maybe also the little extra details we were talking about before. It's looking pretty nice though. Okay, next up, Poodlestein. So swamped with work and life lately, but I got some work done on my concrete. I feel like it needs a little bit of rebalancing on the mold lines versus horizontal wood grain. So what I would say, so that's the old one. So the work in progress, current. This is definitely better. What I would do is lower the strength of the wood grain, and let me think here. Yeah, lower the strength of the wood grain, but generally this looks much better. I mean, maybe it's the whole thing needs to be a little bit lower, but yeah, this looks nice. The next thing I would say is, I know you're working on that scene and you're saying that life and work are taking up a lot of time. Totally get that. I think once you've made the tweak to this, I would move on to the rest of your scene and come back to this later as like a polish phase. That way you feel the sense of like progress and closing the book on something. You know what I mean? Because we get into our heads really easily if we're sitting there just kind of trying to work through one thing over and over and over again. This is a huge improvement versus this. I would just maybe tone the normal of everything down maybe by like 10%, 5%, and then the wood grain maybe like another 5%. And you'd probably be in a pretty good spot. You leave that alone, come back to it once your whole scene is kind of at this state. Because this is looking pretty polished. You jump into between 3 different elements. Oh, okay. Nice. Keep yourself sane. Yeah, that'll, yes. Looks good though, man. Huge improvement. Ninja, how you doing? Not the ninja, but our ninja. You know what I'm saying? Welcome. All right. Let me... Man, this is kind of complicated to click through on this stuff. Does the Discord... Let me see if the Discord gets in the way of the captions. Oh my gosh, it doesn't. This is great. Okay, I'm gonna keep this window here. I'm gonna move this one over here. And I'm gonna open a bunch of your guys' works again here. It just is my way of vetting the stuff before I open it up, you know? Okay, so let's zoom my Discord up as well. So the next one is actually from, is it Emre? Oh, it is frozen. Oh, okay, I can't do that. Dang. All right, we'll do it the other way around then. Oh no, I can't. I can't. There we go. I think I got it figured out. How can someone with a 49 ultra wide have like screen position issues? Hard J. Is it Raj? Mraj? Is that how you would say it? Because Hard J. Nice. Sounds like a G to me. But then again, you know, American English, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Cool. Mraj, dude. Let's take a peek. So, you were writing here. Let's see here. So, this is a bit of an older project, but I want to understand what I can do to help balance the readability of the piece. The model is pretty close to the original artwork, but the textures I came up with myself and don't sit too well. Would love to hear your feedback on. So a lot of, I mean, this already looks pretty cool to me. Nice, Defcon. Yeah, I get Expanse vibes from this for sure. So if sorry. Let's start Photoshop really quick. We'll go back to this for a second. We got the subtitles are working here too. Okay, good. Good. I'm gonna bring it into Photoshop. So give me 2 seconds and we'll be on our way. Boop, boop, boop. All right. Okay, so when we look at this station, it's quite big. It's a big object, right? So really selling the scale can be difficult. And I think anytime you're going to add like detail to try and make it look detailed, like these scrapes and scratches, that detail is only going to make it look smaller and will also drive a lot of the scale misunderstanding. As well as there's another thing that it would do. It makes it busy, if that makes sense. The surfaces become busier. So if we go grayscale, see if we zoom out, like this is at 100%, those scratches, having those like smaller and maybe along edges is going to basically allow for the surface to read as that surface with the panel and like this little piece here. And then you're looking at these. So you're getting rid of the like smaller details, which allows for the surface to kind of read on its own. Like this type of damage that's happening here. Like what's the size of this thing? It looks pretty big. Like especially if this is like, I'm gonna guess that a person is something like that. I don't know. But that would mean that these types of damages are like almost human size. So I would take all of that and tone it down, like scale it back or make it smaller. And just really rely on the surfaces being these like large, flat, kind of cleanish surfaces with a little bit of wear here and there. There's also a little bit of information that's happening maybe in the albedo. I'm not sure because I don't have the buffers. Do I have the buffers? Let's see. Oh, this will be good too. Okay, so I know it's blurring here. I love the lens flares. This type of detail here is very busy. You can see it here. Maybe toning down the normal map information there, or like not really leaning into the wear and tear that's happening on it. You could just not do any of that and just let it be the pattern, because that's got a lot of the information already, right? Yeah, these scratches it's strange that the scratches go like this. I can see there's a mirror here as well. But like, I guess you would expect the scratches to be more radial. You could probably not have them in the albedo and just in like the roughness, and that will go a long way. We're really separating out materials like these panels. The contrast between the panel pieces. If that material was lighter, this will turn into more of like a sheen, a glass sheen. But yeah, I think that's what you're kind of grappling with, is the scale feels a little strange. Oh yeah, and the animation, the pieces aren't moving. Yeah, if you're gonna do an animation, definitely want things moving. I mean, I see them moving. They're moving. It's just they're very slow, which leads me to believe that it's really large. It's a really big ship. I mean, to me it looks pretty good. It's just toning down some of the noise in the materials. Oh, I love that you got the numbers all kind of. It's interesting that the numbers are in the top corners. Like, I'd expect that number to be in the same spot on each one. Like, if it was bottom left or bottom right, it would be bottom right every time. But also, it depends how these connect. Maybe those only connect on this side. You know what I mean? Like, I would expect all of these cargo pieces to be interchangeable throughout. Yeah, it's just very busy surfaces is the main takeaway, I think. But super cool. I like the color selection that you've got going. It's not too busy, Hey, thank you for the 2 years, sir. 2 years. My gosh. It's been a pleasure and will continue to be a pleasure. Oh, look at that. There we go. We're getting a little bit of scale in there. Man, that's this asset's really cool. Yeah, see, this is a good example of like the details here are actually causing it to become busy just because of the value differences between the panels, for example. Do you cleanse Wipeout? Can you message me on Discord? I'll help you find it. If it was a portfolio review, is that what you're referring to? Look at that geometry too, man. It's not even that crazy. Some of these smaller things maybe could be triangular. I don't know because I can't see very closely. But this looks good. Ooh, bro. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Yo, I love it. Oh, you did the planet too. Oh, that's so cool. This is to me, this is really cool to see. But yeah, you can see how busy it is all the time, right? I would try and let the like even this is a better like detail ratio, right? There's information there, but when you squint, it's just kind of a surface. Whereas with you squint with this, it's still you can still see the noise. But this is this is great. Like what I would do is actually I would make this try and tone down a lot of the busyness. And then with this one, this is what you use to kind of bring back some of those details. But this is freaking cool. This is really cool to see. I kind of want to, is this like, yeah, full res there. Yeah, that's sick. Really nice. But cool. Hopefully that was helpful. Addy, yo, would love to hear some feedback on these shots. Let's get them in here. Boom, boom. Do they feel interesting enough? Is the framing boring? Would love to hear what you think, but the lighting here, since I've had one of my pals say it could be a little bit more complex, or anything regarding foliage placement would be helpful. So, so we've got 2 shots here. To me, this shot's pretty cool. Maybe the side framing is a little tight on the left. I like how grounded this one feels, this side piece here. We can do this maybe. Did that help us? Yeah, it helped us. This framing here is really nice. Bringing this in, and then you're really looking at that. There's a bit of a tangent where it meets the tree here. So I think if these were just pushed off to the side a little bit more, that would help a lot. Compositionally, I think it's looking pretty cool. If you did that change, I think the shot is good. This one, however, feels strange to me. Like this one feels forced. Like, I guess we're trying to focus on the log, but the lighting, it's almost like you need the lighting to hit the top edge of it to help separate it from the background, or like push the background further back like you did in here. Like you see how faded out it is back here. Like if we copy this image, let's just like this one. No. No. Can I just do this? Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, I can. Haha. Sick. Okay. So like all the information in the back here, I think separating it out would do a lot. Let's see if we can just like quickly eyeball. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. Beautiful. I mean, I guess we could even do this piece a bit too, because then you get a sense of the separation. No. Okay, so if we take that and we paste it there, let's just kind of like grab this color and we'll just wash on top of the, maybe even a little lighter. So if you do this, right, you can see how that just separates out the detail, or the planes of existence. You can take that and really use it to help frame further, right? You separate the elements so that you can see the frame layering. This grass piece on the right is very distracting. For like, it doesn't really add much. I think getting some of the, like, you've got some like smaller micro details going on here. Let's see here, like this stuff here. Wait, what's going on? There we go. So like these smaller details here, I think getting some of that in here and maybe some that's up close would be enough. And then I think the shot would be done as well. Could be nice as well, maybe to like, let me just grab it and let's go to the, what are we looking at here? Camera raw filter. I usually like to use this to play with the temperature, because the scene's very warm, but you have to remember is also the sky is blue, right? So there's going to be some blue coming in. So you could do that, and then maybe tinting. I don't know. It's like getting some more information in there. Like this to me feels a little bit more cinematic, but I think it's just because when I say cinematic, it's like what we see when we look at films these days, right? Whereas with yours, it's very single colored. Getting a little bit more information in there while still making it feel warm would be good, I think. So if we paste this on top, you can still like, let's see here. You can still get that kind of warm feeling from certain areas. Like maybe it's here, but I'm like doing this in the wrong layers. But you can have areas pop with the warmth, right? And you get that mix, which I think will be really helpful. Make a shot much more engaging. Kind of makes me wonder if this one had the same push. That's even more, it's almost desaturated now. We can see how much that does, right? I think when we bring the temperature down with this one, because it's so warm, there's like no color to pull from in post. But I really like this shot. I think you can actually stick with it being quite warm like this. I can almost say you could do this. And then it's just a matter of getting the log away from the tree. But I like where the log is placed, so I think just shifting the trees to the side is going to be the best approach. Remember that you can raise the grass around where the trees are at, just because they're protected in those areas. So, cool. Very nice, man. Let's go back to here. Looks really good. Okay. Christopher, or Christoph. Is that Leckler? These look pretty cool. Could you give me some feedback on texturing work here, please? Especially the wall textures. I think the damages are sometimes not so nice, and I would like to know how to blend them better. I'm using Vertex paint plus some decals. Yeah, don't worry, Chris is enough. Nice. I'll take it. Um, cool. Okay. So we're looking at the walls and like what to do with them. So decals are working pretty well. I'm assuming that's a decal and maybe this is Vertex paint here. A lot of the times there's not a lot that's happening to the walls. Chris, are you okay? What's up? Radsby. Getting extra triggered because you're just hearing Chris a lot. I'm the Chris. No, you're the Radsby. The Radsby. Speedy? Come on. Come on. Captions failing me. Yes. So I think when it comes to walls, I would definitely look at your references of like how buildings age, what ends up happening to them. Because like, for example, you see you've got molding here. That's the crown molding, and then you've got floorboards or molding for the floors. Depending on which country you're in, that terminology will change. But usually these details will go all the way to the top, or they're supported here, but then there's a very similar detail that follows along the wall. This looks like the White House. That's so weird. This looks like I think it's the West Wing where the grass is. That's so strange. There's a lot of similarities I'm seeing here. Because I spent years looking at the White House for Division, so I'm seeing a lot of like similarities. Like this would, if you were to walk in here, this would be the press briefing room with for the news. It's so weird. The things that are trapped in your brain forever because you make video games. But yeah, no, it's definitely when you look at this shot, it's not the White House. This is definitely somewhere else. Division PTSD setting in. I just start staring. But yeah, so looking at these details, usually separating these out as like a different color of paint. Shokri. Yeah, if you were to separate these, they help ground the wall to the floor as well as to the ceiling. Figuring out how everything connects and how they're painted will help a lot. I can see that the paint's really worn away, like going up. That kind of worn paint is so extreme that I don't think it's actually realistic. Unless they were using spray paint cans and just painted it to look like this. Like, why would it wear that much upwards, right? Yeah. Man, I'll have to show you guys what I'm talking about. Hang on here. Let me see if I have any on my portfolio. No. I don't have any screenshots. Dang. Because it's literally the same windows and doors, and here it just needs to be a little narrower. But yeah, seeing how paint wears, how things are constructed, and not going too heavy with like the dirt going up. I think it's actually going to be pretty mild because, I mean, this feels like it's supposed to be chipping away at the paint, right? It was also a really abandoned building. Okay. Yeah, that could do it, Chris. Because, yeah, it's very, like, this is super worn. To me, there's not anything too strange. Like, this is really clean. Just the way everything is modeled, which is probably not what you want to go for. But I also feel like this is too dirty. So there's like a little bit of a balance. What I usually like to lean into is like, okay, if this is here, I would use a decal to kind of bring these together, like where they meet. So like instead of going all the way up the walls or all the way up to here, throughout, doing it in the crevices and then having it bleed out from there helps connect things, and then you can use decals to break it up even further. Like this up here actually looks like dirt, but up high. I guess that's supposed to be like the wall chipped away, because it looks like it goes inwards as well. You posted one of the refs? Okay, let me see here. Oh yeah, this place is super. Yeah, this is very old. So, man, this is cool though. Did they spray paint that grass? That's like super green. Yeah, because this is really abandoned. And it, like, when you look at this type of detail, like, I feel like maybe what you're missing is like smaller damage. You can see that also if you, like, if we copy this image, bring it into Photoshop, and then we go to your reference. I mean, we're not going to grab the reference literally, but or follow it exactly. What is going on? Is the reference just... Oh, I'm pasting into a freaking... There we go. Like if we go grayscale, you can see the contrast differences between this part of the wall and this up here. And then there's this darker area. So this kind of lighter detail is what you would usually... what people usually see, I guess, or expect to see when they see damage. And you can see with yours, it's very much in kind of like the same range, or like value range. So getting some areas where it's like chipped away, and you're getting this kind of lighter detail that's under it or on top of it, depending on like how you do that, how you want to display it. But there's all these like little micro stuff happening on the ground. This looks like lots of like alpha decaling or like mesh props. There's like a little bit of a wear on the bottom edge there as well. But you can see how like in the grayscale, it's more prevalent. But you can see there's discoloration at the base versus complete damage. So one of the things I would do is definitely push discoloration, where it's like before you start doing all of the damage that's on top, just take the wall paint and just make it a little bit less saturated and a little bit brighter at the base, and then go up it and have that gradient away. That'll add a lot of complexity, I think, to the surface automatically. And then from there, you start to kind of chip stuff away and break stuff away to try and get closer to this type of detail. Like these, like that looks like a decal to me. Like you could do that with a decal. That could be a decal. And a lot of these could be like this could be like a cutout decal that you just place. This is in the texture, or like in the shader. You do that gradient in the shader. Then you can take this decal approach and invert it, so you could make the wall look like this surface, and then you can place decals that look like this. You know? Yeah, just thinking about every type of thing that you could add that adds that tells the story of like what happens to paint and surfaces. Because you can see it's pretty dirty, and this place looks like it gets quite a bit of rain as well. That looks like rain damage here, and then like sun bleaching, lots of sun bleaching. And this all happens because this is where the paint ends, right? And like it's an area where water can seep in and start to get under the paint, under the like stucco, and just kind of start chipping stuff away, or concrete just starts to wear wherever there's seams. Overall though, the scene's looking cool. Let me go back to the, like, I like the little gaps you have going on down here. These feel like they, let's see here. Like this, the ground right now in this area feels a little low res, or maybe a little on the bright side. Tiling too little, like the pieces are really large, or the gaps between them are really large. I don't know. Maybe it's just hasn't been pushed far enough yet. Go thicker with the grass as well. And don't be scared to let the grass like creep into places, because like if this is overgrown, this is all just gonna kind of bleed in, and you can use the crevices here to kind of like fill in those areas. Pretty sick though. Oh, you have a few other pictures. Let me. Oh my god, dude, this is like White House for sure. It's crazy. This door looks pretty cool. This type of detail is really really nice. Oh yeah, and see when you zoom in on these areas, now I'm seeing a lot more information. Like this is really, there's a lot of detail you're putting in, and it's just a matter of like getting it all to connect so that it reads as like they're interacting with each other. Like you've got these tiles missing. Where are they? Right? Let's get some of those tiles like off to the side, or like shattered into pieces, or some of these like these pebble pieces. Some of those could be the tile like broken into like 100 little pieces. So it's like you can see the color on the tile, but then that's it. So you just know like, oh, even though it's with all the little rocks and stuff, you know that it used to be a tile. Ah, it's super nice. You're putting in the work though. I can see it. Oh, this is even displaced. Let's see it here. Dude, cool. Yeah, I feel like there's more to talk about with this one, but I think we should move on. Tiling texture than nanite, dude, nice. Those nanite workflows. I'm working on a weapon for a school project. This is Axel. Thank you, by the way, Chris. It's a baseball bat, revolver, shotgun. It's hardcore. Here's a work in progress high poly and some texturing practice for the handle. Never made a proper weapon asset before, so any pointers would be a big help. I also want to push the grip tape material further because it's going to be very visible in game. All right, let's take a look. Man, we don't even get the privilege of seeing it as a whole. RVT would be good, Bubbles. I think in the right scenarios, it's very useful. So, at least the high poly for this looks pretty good. I'm not a weapons person, so there's a little bit of a tension point here. I think where it came from, like the low poly, when you started to like just getting that smoothed out, so that's like a nice curve. Your bevels feel like they might be a little tight. If you can get this into something where you can smooth the edges, or just like loosen up on the where the Fusion Boy's at. I mean, Defcon was in here. I heard him through his text when he writes. It's like I can hear it. Yeah, the bevels, I would look at those and try and get them a little. Oh, he's gone. Oh, so sad. I would try and get those wider, just because they're very, like, these ones are very tight. Wait, Ninja's Defcon? No way. I don't believe it. Wait, Ninja's a Fusion Boy. Yeah, because you can see here, it's like, this is nice. This bevel feels good. This one feels good. Right here, it feels like it gets super sharp, and I think it's just because of the way like when you're working in sub D, how areas can like pinch. So getting a consistency between those is going to be really good. This spot right here feels very thin to me. I would maybe take these circles and just shrink them down just a little bit. And then if we look at your material work here, I mean, this is looking cool. There's definitely some love being taken into account with the materials of the wood look good. There's some nice wear and discoloring. For the grip, I think what I would do is what color is the grip tape to begin with, and then how does it discolor? So like for video games, the lighter the grip tape is, the better it tends to be for visualizing those types of gradients. So like if this was like a lighter tape, then you can discolor more to the center because that's kind of where we would grab, you know? Yeah, a little bit of grease from the tape getting into the wood would be good. Just some contact information there. And don't hesitate to add a little bit of geometry to just give it some depth there. You can do that after you've gotten the textures in. If you're texturing it all as one, just add some extra loops and just kind of, you know, pull it up a little bit on some spots so it doesn't feel like it's just flat. Some more geo for sure. Nice. This is feeling good though. Is this all one material, Axel? Yeah. Okay. So when you get this into Engine, I guess I'm wondering if are you rendering this in Unreal? Unity? Okay. If you can in your shader, I would make a mask where you can separate this surface from this surface. And from there, I would use that mask to let you get a detail normal on your wood separate from a detail normal on the grip tape. Stop sign, what's up? How you doing? The caption tool I'm using is Web Captioner. It takes a little bit of setting up because you have to capture a browser window. So every time I start the stream, I'm going to have to add it. I don't know how I feel about it, but this is the first time I'm using one. So it works pretty well. I'm really happy with it. Hopefully that helps you, Stop sign. Yeah. This looks cool though. I'm excited about this combination. I guess you use it as a bat and then like, does the front, like, does the shotgun shells come out of the end of the bat, or does like the front like tip back and then it's like a sawed off shotgun where it goes, you know? Yeah, detail normals are going to be a must for sure though. They just shoot out the front. Yeah, I think once, oh, I see it now. I think once you get this all like a texture pass on this, I'd love to see the next iteration of it. Let's see where it's at. All right. Is it Frenique? Is that how you say? Is that how you say your name? Oh no, why is that way down there? I guess that's where they open. We'll bring it down there. Cool. So, Frank? All right. The same thing. Oh, really? It's just silent two languages. Crazy. I love it. So, okay. So I started working on the scene this month. Nothing crazy yet. I'm getting there though. To the crazy? You're getting to the crazy? We're all getting to the crazy. Let's go. I got all the tileable materials done. Some wood on the furniture. Also, the kitchen is almost finished. I want to get some feedback on the overall feel, lighting, and maybe materials. So overall feel, it's just in Polish. Nice. Getting crazy. So this looks like it's in Unreal and you're using Lumen, because I'm seeing some weird light bounce action going on here. And like this a little bit as well. I'm assuming it's because the light's going here, it's hitting the side of this thing and then projecting onto the wall. I'm trying to think how you would fix that, because that's a type of issue I haven't ran into yet, but I've seen it. So I'm not, that's more of a tuning thing that we'll have to just kind of look into as you work your way through. Is the outside modeled? I mean, I would say that would be the problem, Chris, because maybe the light is hitting this wall. Basically, all your walls for lighting purposes you need to like block out the sun. Like I would basically build a box for this entire house just to seal it in and then cut a hole for the window. Just so that that's what like real-time GI problems. You got to solve them that way. Cuz you're getting a little, it feels like you're getting a little bit here, but maybe it's a reflection of the glass. Either way, modeling wise, this is all looking pretty cool. I can see you're just starting to get some texturing in. Is that a microwave or is that a TV? What's going? No, that looks like a microwave. No, because I think the TV is right here. It's like a. Oh, this is. Oh, that's looking. Yeah, I'm digging it. Oh, we got another image too. Okay. So this is all feeling pretty, this is feeling pretty nice. Ooh, some nice surface breakup there. And I like the gradient you've got going on for the lights. Do you have like a IES image on your light sources? Those will give you a much more natural fall off to your lights. There's a lot of nice subtleties you're doing in your texture work. Oh man, this is like a 1-bedroom, isn't it? I guess a microwave would have to go there because of the kitchen size. The microwave feels very weird over there, I'll be honest. But I can see because of the size of the kitchen, it's not really an option. That'd be $2,000 a month in New York. So there's a IES library. I'll link it in chat here. Yeah, there's also the pack is free on the Unreal Store. Yes, thank you, Bubbles. But I use that library to just kind of look through them, because then you can go through the pack to pick the one that you're looking for. But this overall looks really cool. I think initially for your block out, like everything's there and you're starting to get your materials in, what I would suggest doing is adding like the human touch. Like this chair being against the wall, that's a bit of the human touch. Yeah, I was going to suggest that. Remove this cabinet or make a shorter cabinet and then put it on top of the fridge. Definitely. Some nice grease stains. Yeah, you get it gets dirty. But like imagine a little box for the little like robo vacuum that goes around and cleans everything. Or like where things are framed. Where are there any plants that would be? Is there anything that usually sits on the center of the table? Adding a cup for like someone, let's say you tidy up your place. Everything's pretty clean. You get up in the morning, you make your coffee. Where's that happening? Where's the coffee get made? Right? You make your cup of coffee, you sit down, you watch a little bit of Netflix, a little bit of YouTube. Then you got to go to work. So your coffee cup's there, TV's off, remote's still here. You leave. And that's just kind of the state of like where things end up being. I'm going to add some nice props here and there. That's that's how I think about propping, man. I have to like how you live in it. How's it lived in? But like photo frames, where would you put plants? Like you've got a plant here, you got some nice plants here. Just reuse the same plant in other areas just to get a feel for the space. I like your materials so far though. The wall paint looks pretty cool as well. I actually wish I had wall paint that was like that, where it had a little bit of a texture to it, some lighter and darker values in there. It's nice. The wood materials remind me of the wood materials where I'm like, oh yeah, no, I recognize that. That's the material I would swap out for another material if I were to own the place. You know what I mean? It's that wood material that you can't do anything with because you don't own the apartment. But yeah. The idea for the scene is a morning after a party with a couple of friends, and the guy living here is late for work or something, so clothes laying all over the place. Some alcohol bottles here and there. Dude, I like it. I like the little story. It's good. It's really good. You get that late night pizza delivery as well, or whatever they order. Maybe the bag of burgers on the side. Awesome. No, this is looking pretty cool. I honestly, I don't have too much to say. And the comments on the lighting, I think we can wait on that until like, till later. This light here feels a little small, maybe. Like it feels like it would be lower. Maybe I've just gotten used to Sweden. Sweden likes to put their lights very low. You can like easily hit, like run into lights all over the place. Lighting is important. Of course it is, Chris. But like the lighting that we were pointing out is a bug issue. It's like a matter of figuring out why it's doing that. But it looks like you've got the mood right for the lighting itself. I like the lighting over the kitchen. Maybe some unevenness in the light. Like maybe one of the tubes is kind of slightly darker than the others. Dude, lighting's extremely important when the environment's clean. But we'll see how clean it is later. Is that your kitchen link, Chris? Yeah, look at that. See how soft the shadows are? You can do that with your lights pretty easily. You just need to change the light angle so that it makes your shadows soften sooner. Yeah, this looks pretty good, Chris. Man, those surfaces, those counters, those counters. All right, thank you for sharing. It's like weirdly cold. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Holy, zoom in. Let's go. If this isn't high res, I don't know what is. Carmen, this is pretty serious. I like it. Like if I... There we go. So I made a quick render of the actual state of my texture for this prop. What do you think I can improve? Does the texture read well? So this is pretty crispy. You sent some reference on Discord? Let's open these up too. To older shots you have. Oh, here's the reference. Oh yeah, look at that. Made in England. Oh, these are cool. Just gonna close some of these out. All right. That is awesome. Yeah, so we've got a bit of a plastic. We've got some, looks like a coating. And then some rust under the coating. And then metal, I'm assuming. So like when we look at, so this is your older texture. So texturally, I like this quite a bit. I would use this kind of noise that's happening here. I would probably soften it a little bit more. Maybe just a really, really light blur, or lower the strength of the normal on it. And then separating these two elements, I think this is supposed to be a metal, right? So if we could get that to kind of show more metal attributes. You think it's paint. So this is paint. This is paint. Let me look at this thing again. Because I think that's rust. So it's the same rough. It does feel like a very similar roughness, right? I would, so even though the reference is very similar, I would try and separate this from the metal a little bit. Like this is supposed to be like a rust, I take it. So you've got a paint and there's rust on top of it. and then you've got the metal that's under all of that. Yeah, it does have a cement feel as well. It's really strange. It's a strange surface. Either way, I mean, this is looking pretty sick, honestly. Um, the let me see what the reference. I was gonna say the chain feels small, but it's small here. I don't have a sense of scale with this thing. I guess those are the screws, so maybe the screws. Okay. Man, this thing is crazy high res. It's interesting with the little bits of color you have going on here that just kind of add a little bit of character, a little bit more character. Ah, this is tough. I think the only thing I could comment on is getting some, oh man, some variation between these materials. I see it here, but I'm not seeing it here. Like I can see that this is metal and then this is paint, but I'm not getting that separation here. The other thing is you could use this kind of noise in the paint. You could tone that down, but then increase it around edges where there's a lot of wear. And that'll give you a little bit more of like, it feels like it should be dirtier. I mean, yes, but I think because of the reference, like this is the reference. It looks like it's from a like it was taken, right? It's no longer in a dirty place. It's been cleaned up but it's like museum. So I think honestly what I would do is you need this cable with the outlet will give you the extra like roughness difference that I think is needed in the scene. Because right now everything's very similar, roughness wise. Yeah, those other ones are the older one as well. This feels nice though. We just need like, if I could get a roughness render from you, that would be really helpful, I think. Looks cool though. It's not okay to just post photos of 3D art, right? It does look like the same project, doesn't it? Yeah, because the background has a very similar. Like you've definitely nailed the kind of lighting. Of course you're joking, Chris. I really like this angle. Like once you have your texture pass on there, there's some elements in here that like this. I really like this type of information that's happening. And there's a lot more like roughness variation happening in here, or like visualized versus like the other. Like look in here. There's like that powder on metal. It's cool. It's cool. You're gonna get the roughness render for us. I'm gonna keep moving, but then I can come back and look at your roughness after the next one, maybe. That way I can get to everyone here. So I was looking at this earlier today, Alex. This is definitely the next phase of your growth as in texturing. Like it's super nice. There's a nice attention to detail, and it's a huge step up from like your previous stuff. Like if we look at the, yeah, Carmen, I'll get to it right after. If you post it, I'll grab it after this one. Like we look at this scene, and then you look at like your more recent stuff. The only thing I would say that needs to be in here, like this is super nice. Let me throw this in chat for you guys. I would, like, I don't know if you need to post this here. It's nice that it is. I would just, before that, I would show your wireframe, your UVs, and your materials, or like your texture maps. Because I want to see how you're thinking about your surfaces. But overall, it looks pretty good. I think it's maybe more of the modeling. Like there's some areas where like it's getting a little crispy on the edges, like a little too hard edged. Like in here, this is an interesting artifact that's happening, and I don't know if that's if you're like masking. Like there's an edge here that maybe is like a triangulation issue with the normals. But then these types of details look really interesting. Surfaces have some really nice details. It looks like you got a hold of some nice alphas, if you want to say it like that, where like you're adding details that only like masks can allow us to do, right? Because if you just do generated masks, it's much less impactful. The way you've done it is really, really good here. A little bit too aged, says Stockhost. De-aged. So cleanly machined edges. Yeah, you're talking about this type of stuff here. This does feel very old though, and I recognize this type of rusting, or like not rusting, but like that aging. I think when you look at the where is it at? This shot here, it would be nice to have a, you know, when someone smudges their finger across to try and remove some of that so they can read the stuff better. That'd be a nice touch. Super nice touch. Trying to see what, like when I look at this render though, this feels pretty good. Maybe a little bit of dirt in the roughness for the glass top on there. And I would be really careful with going too far with the lens flares. Like this one's almost too much. This one feels like it's too much for me. Like it's like a high, like a bright welding light. This one feels a little strong as well. Like those are the things that go, oh, this is a render. You know, like you wanna tone those back. I really like the surface you place this on as well. It's really good for getting it to just feel natural. El natural. Really cool. I don't have too much else to say on it. I wanted to see that. It's a little out of focus, so I can't really see the damage on the edge there. Maybe this could be, I don't know if in the reference if this was metal or not, but I feel like that would either be like a plastic or maybe a different color of metal. I don't know. Super nice. Okay. Up next here, dude, look at this. I remember this scene. So to me, this looks done. Would love to get your thoughts and feedback on this fire. I'm wrapping up. I'm working from feedback mainly around composition, lighting, and final polish suggestions. Maybe I think down here is probably the most distracting to me. Like it just feels like something's missing. But the general, it's almost like I would expect that area to be darker, which is kind of weird. Let me copy that. Photoshop. So like if you were to take this and just kind of, let's see. Yeah, if that area was a little bit more toned back, maybe the rails aren't, but like, yeah, compositionally, it's distracting to have the foreground have such a bright area. Kind of feels I can feel the array mesh, and in other words, oh, yeah, down here it just feels, yeah, I mean, you probably could just take the... I mean, honestly, if you did that, and then just make it darker down there. Because this is what we're looking at. This looks good, man. And this, dude, the attention to detail and the lighting behind surfaces, I think this just doesn't need any of that textural information and should just look like a darker version of this, right? I mean, maybe you don't notice it. I mean, this is 100% zoom. It's so soft though. I freaking love it. Real place. I think this there's something about it that kind of feels like miniature. That's interesting. I think it's this. But it's the same here. Like the size of that. Ah, okay. There's some elements that are missing that I think would take it to the next level. They're very small. But so you got a security camera. Let me see. You've got a... So you don't have a security camera. That's okay. That's fine. Maybe these are... Okay, let's focus. I gotta focus. I'm not focusing, bro. So there's elements like this thing here, these little peg things. These are these like smaller details that when they're missing, you never notice them, but when they're missing, you don't realize like why it feels weird. You can see there's pegs on the other side as well. Advertising is curved here, but straight on this side. We don't ever see this side, so that's fine. But yeah, when you look at your side, the things that are sticking out to me are now not having those pegs every once in a while. Maybe you have another set here just so that we get a closer look of like what they are. And then the little outlet thing that's down here. Maybe there's another one here. These smaller details will bring everything together. And then the only other thing I'm seeing is like this evenness of cables hanging. Usually cables are pretty controlled. So if this hanging happens, it's going to happen in one spot. So like, see how these are all suspended? There's not going to be any slack because this costs money. So these will all be straight, and maybe one of those gave, and you'll get one long one here, and then these are all straight. Otherwise, I mean, this looks pretty nice, man. I feel that the bump texture and roughness reflections on the white tiles would sell it much more. Yeah, these are pretty diffused. Whereas like these are pretty reflective. And they also have like a bit of an inflection difference from panel to panel. I don't know how nice. I have just like the little dots just floating around here. There we go. We get them in the right spot again. Yeah, no. There we go. I don't know. There it is. Nice. Yeah, if these were a little bit more reflective, I think that could be nice. But you might lose the feeling that you're getting right now that feels so natural. But the real place is much more... There's a bit of reflection there. Definitely. Oh yeah, and the stand thing, yeah. I think that's a fire extinguisher. But there's lots of subtleties that you'll tend to miss, like this little, whatever that is. There's this little, which is probably the intercom speaker thing. Those are the details that definitely would take it just to that next level. And I guess in your ceiling, it's not you're not using the same ceiling pieces, so it becomes a little bit problematic. But yeah, cool. Hopefully that was helpful. Oh, here we go. Okay, Carmen, I'm gonna take a look. Here's a roughness mask. Also wanted to clarify that the pinkish smudge is not rust. It's supposed to be paint over the green paint. Ah, okay. It's like a splatter. Right. Man, that's so weird. I guess it's good that it's pink then. Yeah, so as long as you've got metalness on this, the roughness values can be very similar and it'll feel like metal. This looks great. This is a really nice roughness pass here. Discarded Tim Hortons cups. Wouldn't be right without them, right? Super nice. Okay, we've got about 15 minutes. I'm going to close the... There we go. Okay. Let's go back to the thing here. Make sure we're not missing anyone. Solid, solid though. This is, this looks great. All right. Matthew Gorney. Doing my textures right now, looking for feedback currently on the sweat. What does that mean? On the sweat? You stressing? We stressing? No stress. Fingerprints. Yeah, so generally speaking, like this looks pretty nice. Overall, I like the direction you're going with things. I like the surface breakup you're doing. There's some fingerprints here. There's a little seam here. I'm not sure. That might be coming from a mask. But I feel like the paint is not really separating itself much from the metal. But I do see metal here. So I would be looking at that, the roughness variation between these two, as well as like what's making the paint look the way that it looks. Like it almost looks like there's some metallic attributes in there. So looking at the paint itself and getting it further from the metal will be good. When I look at the text stuff, the edges are really dark. And I wonder if that's just the normals are a little on the strong side. And you could also probably blur them a little bit. That way, the edges kind of blend into the model, right? Because all of this stuff was probably added on the metal, and then when it was painted over, you lose a lot of that like crisp sharpness because the paint kind of softens that information out. So it's just a matter of taking your height that's in Substance Painter, for example, and just adding a blur layer on top of it, and just a really subtle blur, just to get away from the artificial vibe that's going on here. I don't have a reference for this, but I feel like this is like I would need a reference to really know what the surface is looking like. And then yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could say about the... Be careful on how dark things get and how bright things are in your albedo. So you want to stay out of the like complete black and the complete white, because those will clip out like instantly when you bring them into like a PBR render. What is this thing? Some voltage control thing? Fingerprints, not yet. It's a shadow. No problem, Carmen. Yeah, because you want them to be pretty subtle. But yeah, if I can... Oh, there's your reference. Thank you. Yeah, you can see like... Oh, God. You can see the contrast difference between these two. Like, this paint just looks a little darker. Oh, man, the paint on top of those, that's going to be... Dude, you got to nail that. It's a fill device used for frequency bouncing, like NordVPN back in the day. That's amazing. Oh, you can see this is inset as well. I don't get that vibe from here. I think if there's a discrepancy between these two, like you can see the plate doesn't match the size of the area that it can rest in. If you give it a little bit more room, that'll help a lot. And I think if you can get that painted look, this is gonna go. That's gonna go a long way. This also looks like a rubber type of surface. I think diffusing your roughness on that, so it's much softer. It's gonna get a look closer to this. And then of course the roughness that's in here is not matching yet. Just a matter of tuning your roughness values. But yeah, I would look at the paint is the thing that's throwing me off right now. The text here as well is like yours looks like it's typed in and then erased here and here. This one looks like it's a smaller, like I would actually even make that in like a Photoshop or similar program, and make it look right there and then project it on. These are also more subtle. You can see yours are really popping out. I think making them, yours don't look as crisp as these ones, and these ones go in not as deep as yours. So they really, yours really pop out. So that's just something to highlight. But cool. Nice. Hopefully that's helpful, man. And thank you for the reference in there. All right, Shokri, it's your time. It's your time to shine. The one who says hello first almost every single time in the server, or in the stream rather. Let's close some of these. There we go. Definitely bubbles. Definitely. It's looking cool though. So, if you have time, I'd like your opinion on this model. I need critique on this wood material. What would you change? I'm planning on adding paint drips, etc. This is looking pretty good, man. You've been leveling up for a while now. Like every time you make something, it's just a little bit more. So from this view, the roughness of the surface feels strange to me, but the wood looks really good. Maybe in the crevice there, it could be just a tad bit darker. So you can see from this angle, it feels very flat. But I think it has to do with the lighting angle itself. What you could do, this sounds crazy, but what you could do is in Substance Painter, you could paint a value or paint a mask for each of these wood pieces and then push in a normal vector color and try and point the wood surface just slightly off from each one. That way they're just a little tilted. And it's not as flat, right? I think that'll go a long way while still letting it be a flat surface, if that makes sense. Adding the paint that you're talking about will go a long way as well. When I look at these details, is it all wood? Everything on this thing is wood. I mean, it's got a lot of character in the way you've been texturing it. I really want to see a bunch of stuff in here, like screws and screwdrivers and little like caps and stuff, like just lots of little small things in here. You probably only need to make like 5 props of just little things and just scatter them inside like a lot. And then you probably need like a dust pass or like a grime pass where like stuff builds up. I kind of feel like that's not happened yet. It looks like this thing was really dirty, and then someone went in, cleaned it up, didn't try to revarnish anything or whatnot, but like, hey Muck, how you doing? Uh, and then went in and just got all the dirt out, emptied all the little pieces from anything, and just like clean this all out, but didn't try and fix the wood at all. So what we want to do is get all that layering on top. Like just the dirt that kind of builds up in there, the kind of dry dustiness that's inside. All the just like the characteristics that kind of lend to the details that you would expect to see. Like you could go on like a marketplace and just find some like toolbox stuff as well. Spend a few bucks and just throw that in here. Just make sure it all blends together and looks as good as your stuff. Because everything should be like selling your prop here. I need add 2 triangles. Yeah. Nice. I mean, it's this is looking really nice. Like when you zoom in, like I can see the denting. The dents are very accurate to the dents you see. You got these lines as well, dude. That's nice. Nice attention to detail. And how these are all like connected together is very well done. I think where is that shot? This one. Oh. Frank, that's weird. We should can you post that in troubleshooting as like a lighting thing? Let's see if we can get some people on that. I'd be curious to get answers on that. Let's see here. Oh, I was gonna say where these are connected. Kind of feel like there'd be a little bit of griminess around it. Maybe not dripping, but like just contact detail. You know? Just showing these are interacting with each other. This feels good. It feels like it's floating a little bit. Maybe that's the bevel. But this looks pretty nice, man. Yeah, the greasy varnish kind of grimy things that go on. It's floating. All right. We know what's going on. Oh. But yeah. Cool. I'm impressed. This is looking good, man. I would say you're getting close to done. It needs that detail of some stuff on it. Some usage. Ooh, look at that little metal tag there. Is that when it was built? Nice work, dude. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Hang on. I don't know if that needs to have the wood grain pattern or not. Probably not. I think it's fine. But knowing which way the wood grain is and like seeing if there's rings. Not a tag, it's a piece of wood for a guide so it doesn't wobble. Oh. Thanks. See, research, man. It does have it? Okay. You don't need to prove it to me. I believe you. How was this made? That's a good question. If I remember correctly, you modeled each of the pieces and then you brought it into ZBrush, no? And chipped away at some of the edges and whatnot. Or even in Blender. Oh, there you go. 3D oak wood. Here you guys go if you want it. I'll get a cut. This is super nice though. Yeah, Shokri, I'd be curious of your workflow. All right, we only got a few more minutes, but I know I have one other to look at, and then we'll look at your reference you posted, Alex. This one, greetings. This is my first stylized diorama. This is pretty hardcore for a first. I've made it in UE4. I would love to hear your overall thoughts and critiques on this piece. So overall, really nice, especially for your first stylized piece. Whoa, I feel like I'm falling but flying away at the same time. It's like some weird Hogwarts vibe going on. Yeah, 12 out of 10 for interactivity. This is something a lot of people don't do, and it's that movement. That sign swing, yes, yes. The tree is blowing pretty crazily. Maybe it could use a few more cards so that you don't really see the cards themselves. First, not a first. This is my first stylized. For a first stylized piece. Dude, I would love for more stylized work to be posted. I'm super down. Don't be shy if you got stylized stuff. Yeah, so the things I would comment on is maybe there's too many wind streaks happening, so it ends up distracting. But I like that they're there. Do you know what I'm saying? The tree maybe needs more cards so that way you don't really see the cards as it kind of moves. But I like that it's moving. It's a very good detail. The darkness of the wood material actually maybe could be a little bit brighter, and then the tower could be a little bit darker. It just feels like it's right on the edge of starting to overexpose, and the saturations maybe are a little high on the brick. But I mean, it's fine. Love the sign swinging, and the grass is kind of suffering from the wind noise being very, like, you can see the cloud, so it might be deforming a little bit too uniformly. Grass is not easy to get moving right, but I like the variation of like the lower, smaller tufts around the edges. I think it just needs to be a little bit more integrated into the rock. Like let's see if we can find that. And this is cool. Material parameters, let's go. Oh, that's cool that you're showing that off. What about the tree? The tree didn't change, or did it? Because like if you can get all those parameters tied together, you can actually shift the season and it'll all change with it. But I know you changed the paint and whatnot of the tower as well. The last thing I wanted to mention on this was the way that the rocks are kind of fitted together. I think that's fine, but the way that the edges are, it's maybe a little too, like, I would use that as the base and then from there paint on it to try and get some kind of directionality to your paint strokes. That'll help a lot. There's a way to do paint strokes, because I can tell you're using filters to kind of get this effect, and that's totally fine. It's just trying to get away from, you can use that as the base and then go from there and make it look more painterly by actually doing some of the painting. But this is awesome. I really like it. It's nice. This camera's crazy, but I mean, I'm down. Hey, no problem. Thank you for posting as well. I would love to see more from you. Very cool. All right, here we go. We got Alex's reference. One small, super small thing. Oh, here we go. The way the handles of the staircase are integrated, it's super sharp. I gotta see. Oh. You're talking about this? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, you just need like an extra, like a nice little bevel there. Don't be scared of geometry, for adding geometry. Is that what you're talking about, Stagust? Yeah, getting a bevel there would be super nice. That'll really push it. Okay. Ooh, look at that drop of water. Dang, freshly grossness. Freshly grossness, guys. So all these edges are quite beveled, Alex. Let me see if we can. Yeah, where's that at? Where's that post at? There it is. Because this model in general, not bad. This is like quite a step up from your previous. Man, that's gross. These are all pretty beveled. So getting those rounded, I think would be really nice. Yeah, this is all metal. You can see there's this like kind of welding that's gone around this edge here. Geometry is afraid of me. If you work for me, definitely be 100% afraid. That's not true, Chris. You just want us to add the geometry where it actually counts. Unless having a hard edge is the style, then I won't be scared of you, Chris. Yeah. Getting this softer around these edges, I think, would be good. You're all about hard style? It's great, Chris. That's great. Trying to see what all these materials are. Man, you don't want to make yours dirty there, though, huh? Right here? Could get really gross. This thing could be a nice addition to the hard surface challenge. You're right. This looks like a nightmare. I'm very impressed with Alex's creation of it. But yeah, okay. It's 10:02. Holy cow, dude, the captions. It's 10:02 p.m. 10:02 p.m. Wow, I'm impressed. Captions are doing pretty well. It's even getting me duplicating my text in my words. I'll say in or and it just keeps I don't know what that is, but I've always done it. Who knows? All right. I should get out of here, huh? Let me make sure before I go, I got to everyone, right? I think I did. But yeah, cool. Cool. So, no, thank you for your guys' time. Thanks for hanging out here. Hey, thank you for that follow as well. Oh no, we have no captions here. Captions. There we go. Nice. I don't know if captions at the top feels right, but I don't know, maybe. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Chris, if you want to poke me about how the caption stuff works, just let me know. I'll show you. It's very straightforward. But yeah, cool. I guess a little smaller, but captions are cool. Is it too big on the other screen? Actually, I'm curious. And I'm quiet 70% of my streams. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. that'll do it, Chris. True. Yeah, captions for accessibility, because like YouTube does a pretty rough job of captions versus what this is doing. This is quite impressive, actually. That feels gigantic to you? Wait until you need glasses, sir. Maybe you have glasses. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you guys in the Discord. If you're new here, here's the Discord. Come hang out with us. You might learn a thing or two. You might teach a thing or two. It's always nice. But cool. I'll see you guys in the Discord, or I will see you on Sunday. Yes, I'll see you on Sunday. Okay, have a good evening. Bye, guys.